am Kara and I talk to wine. I am very excited today because we have a special guest. So I'm not only talking to wine, but I'm talking to Jeff Spear. So super thrilled because Jeff has written a lovely book called My Life in Gluttony, which is almost like the yin to the yang of my wine book, because his is all about stories and recipes and sharing his passion for food, much like mine is stories and wine and sharing my passion for wine. So thank you for being here, Jeff.
My pleasure. And I have to just chime in. What's wine without food and what's food without wine?
That's why I can't believe I haven't done this before. I can't believe we haven't created this beautiful harmony before. But Jeff, what are you going to be bringing to the table? I'll talk about the wine that I, of course, brought to the table, but what do you have?
So in my book, it talks about, it's basically a culinary memoir that spans, I don't know, 50 years of my life learning to cook and what have you. So today, at Kara's request, I've made a tuna noodle casserole. This is the very first dish I ever learned how to make. I made it when I was in the Boy Scouts.
Okay.
And I had to do this to pass a certain test, for my merit badges and what have you.
Okay.
And I made this on the campfire. Now, at that point in time, it was cream of mushroom soup and real basic.
Basic.
So I've upgraded that. And today we're going to have a really nice seafood
I'm so
casserole.
excited. I'm very excited. So we will get into that in a moment. But right now, I want to bring out this really cool, interesting wine. It's called License to Chill. But, of course. So it's a natural wine by a producer called Subject to Change. And I'll pour you a little bit because we're going to first explore the wine and then we'll explore our food. So this is called a co-ferment. Do you know what co-ferment means, Jeff?
This is the first
time
for me.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
We're both learning because I've never had that. He's never had this. So it is a combination of 3 grape varietals. Familiar with Zinfandel, Syrah, and then we have Sauvignon Blanc. So you're thinking, okay, 2 reds and a white. But what happens is they harvest these grapes from Northern California, Mendocino, which is cooler. It's a little bit more impacted by fog and ocean influence. So these grapes are a little bit more, lively and bright to begin with. And then when you ferment them all together, the Sauvignon Blanc makes the color a bit lighter, as you can see, right? You mentioned it looked a little bit lighter.
That was the first thing I noticed.
And it's going to have a changed smell, right? So the aromatics will be different, and just the overall feel of the wine will have a more energetic, more lively, little crunchier feel. And it's natural because they're not adding any sulfur, they're not doing any manipulation. What you see is what you get.
Cool.
Let's smell and taste it. Let's look at it. Smell, taste. So we mentioned nice and light, and it's a little bit cloudy, right? So they're not finding or filtering the wine. It's just very au naturel.
And it's very aromatic. I noticed as soon as you opened it.
Right. So we can smell it from here.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Let's see what we get. Anything jumping out?
Yeah, and I think it's pear.
Ooh, okay. So some of the notes you typically get from a white because of that addition of Sauvignon Blanc, that's popping out to you. That's great.
It's pear and raisin-like.
Oh, okay. Because it's got a little bit of that Zinfandel, right? That rich fruit, that almost dried fruit sensation. So you're kind of extracting some of the elements of each of the grapes. And then I get a little peppery, almost, currant from the Syrah. Yeah. So all the fruits, all the grapes have their own character in the wine. Beautiful. Let's taste it.
Really
and
different.
It's chilled. It's different. So we've chilled it because it's not very high in tannin. It's got this prickle, right? So it's got what's called higher acid. So it's very mouth-watering. It's more energetic, lively. It's a little funky, right?
Yeah, it's so unusual. It's one of those conversation starters.
Oh yeah, for sure. So that is what we're working with, a natural wine co-fermented out of Mendocino. Let's see what you've made us.
Okay, so a basic tuna noodle casserole, you put it all in a pot, you bake it. This is, like I say, this is the upscale version from what I made in Boy Scouts. So I've got some buttered noodles.
Okay. See, this is my favorite part when I have a friend that can cook masterfully. I just sit.
So we've got some buttered noodles.
And watch the mastery. Any special butter or just your run of the mill?
Butter.
Just do some butter.
And we've got the it's seafood in basically a traditional white bechamel.
Ah, bechamel.
So
okay.
there's onion, red pepper,
Okay.
and celery, and that brings the majority of the flavor in. Salt and pepper.
Oh, nice.
And then we've got a combination of, you can use any kind
Oh
of
my gosh.
any kind of seafood you'd like. I've got cod, shrimp, and scallops.
Let me just take this a little closer. Whoa. Oh my, that's stunningly gorgeous. And it seems like I could make this. Anyone could make this.
This is an easy.
This is a date night. With this too. Whoa. Yum. Let's double check we have enough libation. That is gorgeous.
Yeah. So it's a simple dish. The seafoods are nice, rich seafoods. They're the ones that you can't get enough of.
Right.
No?
Shrimp. Oh, beautiful. So this is my favorite part. Let's take a bite. Let's get in there. So I'm just gonna try to get scallop here.
I'm gonna get shrimp.
Oh, yum. Not too rich, really flavorful, but I like how the butter plays with everything, and the pea and the pepper has a nice overall kind of brightening factor.
Yeah, and if you want to, you can garnish with any number of things. When you're making the sauce, you can add brandy, you can add wine, you could add Pernod, anything to add the flavor. Then this is the veggies, the seafood, and salt and pepper.
I love that.
So it's basically.
You could even do maybe a little seasoned breadcrumb on top if you
could,
wanted.
yeah. Now, if you wanted to,
know.
you could make everything together, mix it together, sprinkle it with some panko, put it in the oven, and then you've got a fair dinkum
This
casserole.
feels classier though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, now the magic, right? So we've taken a bite. We love this. We love the wine. I like to coat my palate with the dish and then take a sip, and we'll see how the food's changed, how the wine has changed, and if we have a successful pairing. Let's do it. I'll go in for the shrimp this time. A little bit of noodle. Ooh, the shrimp is lovely. And then coat the palate. Cheers again. We didn't even cheers.
Yeah.
Too busy talking.
Get distracted by good stuff.
That works for me.
Yeah.
That works for me because that butter and that nice kind of richness from the shrimp, that really pure seafood flavor, to me has made the wine less funky. It made the wine much more familiar. The fruit was more robust. The pungency wasn't quite as prominent, and it just became more supple and generous.
Yeah, and I think one of the other considerations is how cold do you want the wine?
Right.
Because some people prefer. Look, when I drink single varietal reds,
Yeah.
I have them room temperature.
Right.
This is chilled, and I feel, for my preference, I like to have it chilled is okay, but not quite as cold as it is right now.
Yeah.
I think it would be perfect.
Perfect. So you like yours a little bit less chilled. How did it work with the food for you?
It was fine. The thing that I'm still getting used to the fact it's such a different wine.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
so one of the things I like to do with wine, I don't necessarily pair, because I view wine as a single food. And so you just drink the bottle.
There you go.
don't need anything else.
Forget the food.
But
That's one way to do it.
so for me, this is an eye-opening experience, and I'm
Right.
really focusing in on the nuance. Because it's a nice, as I said, the conversation started.
Exactly.
I mean, we'd be talking about this all night long.
Oh yeah. And then one last thing about the food though, for me the wine also has an impact on the food, which is a great way to think about it, because I felt like the peas and the pepper and the flavors in the dish actually got even more amplified, which is always fun too. And this proves 2 points that I was hoping we could make tonight, is that don't be afraid to pair the specific correct reds with seafood. I think it worked. And don't be afraid to chill your reds if it calls for it. So this will be, I think it was eye-opening for you. It can be eye-opening for you. So what you need to do is buy this book, My Life in Gluttony, and then my book's not on display, but it's called If Wine Could Talk if you've been watching any of these videos, and both of them are on Amazon.
That's
so
right.
Make this, drink this. This is easily found at your local Whole Foods, so you can grab that there as well. But thank you so much.
Thank you.
This has been an absolute pleasure, Jeff. Cheers.
Cheers.
See you next time.